violence and occupation in our neighborhoods, we know that the police are there very heavily, and there's also violence among us. And every time something happens, we see the police commissioner come on TV, and he seems to have the answer that needs more police. And we're trying to change that narrative, and we're trying to change it into a narrative into our interest. And I know that Fred Hampton, he had an answer, and let's explore that.
Uhuru. Korvell Curry, also known as Rico, from my neighborhood, which they took from us. It was a project. It was their project, that's why they was able to take it. Cabrini Green, y'all, the guy was up here, Willie Fleming Jr. Brought a lot of great guys out of there, trying to be the next. But I'm trying to take it to a whole nother level, but I'm gonna go on a pre-sequel, or whatever they call it. I'm gonna go back and start. So, let's say 2003, I was 13. I sold my first bag of dog food. We call that heroin, to my own people. Now when I started out, I got that first. It was so easy to get to, and it was a way to me to make a profit. Typical stories, dead end around. Mama wants you to be the surrogate parent. Bring in that cash, so she allow you to do certain things that she probably wouldn't, But my conscience, subconsciously, I didn't want to sell that, so I moved to crack. I thought that was better. I thought it because, it was a little consequence. In the hood, you got people who call themselves knowing the game. You like, man, don't sell it dope because it's bigger consequence. So I went to the crack. I sold crack to my people, to my own people. I want to emphasize that. Again, I made a decision subconsciously. I don't want to do it. I ain't want to sell that. I wasn't telling myself that back in 03, 04, 05, that was the reason why. Some reason I always got out that situation where I wasn't doing that. So I thought I was smart again. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna sell some weed. I'm gonna sell some marijuana. All these different factions and make some money for whatever my reason is. So if I had good intent to put food in my family mouth, to put some extra money in my mama's pocket, because she only living off $600 a month, who the fuck can live off of that? Excuse my French. Who can live off? This what's going on right now. Last night, we was on 71st and what? St. Lawrence, at the House of Culture. Next door, they got a clinic, and they selling liquid dope. It's pink dope. It's called methadone. It really pissed me off because my mother, that person that promoted me being a surrogate parent in that house, got off heroin 13 years ago. She's still a dope fiend. How? It's a problem, man. Straight up. I sold it to my people, but the government making liquid forms of this shit and supplemented for them. So while I started off to say that I sold dope to my people, so y'all can identify what these kids doing right now, and you ain't to blame them. Y'all don't look at me funny because I sold dope to my people. You look at them motherfuckers who dropped their heroin enough. This is what InPDUM is for. This is these organizations are for. To educate you on these people, man. To let you know who dropped their heroin enough when O'Malley was back in the building revolution. And they strategically got in the way of these things. Put informants, infiltrated these organizations, and then they dropped the dope. Created the gangs. It's all strategic, man, and it's all happening right now. And it's a connection to why I picked up that heroin, why I decided to sell crack, why I decided to use all these different avenues just to make $1. Because the whole concept was to make $1, but my intention was to help my people, my family. So even when I was doing bad shit out there, my intentions was great. They was great. Same thing on the collective standard right now. Not on this side right here, you know, in this white ass neighborhood and all that. But go farther south, go on the low end, and you gonna see it. And don't judge them. Understand, educate yourself, and ask and really raise the question. When that dope run out, when that crack run out, even when the weed run out, how I get back? Ask yourself that. How I get back to every day. It don't never run out. You ain't never heard of it being a drought on no dope. You ain't never heard of it being a drought on no crack or no weed, because it's always gonna be here. And this is a dangerous fight. This is a dangerous question I raise, because you got to fight against your own brothers, because they telling you, man, what you saying, you sound like a snitch. You sound like you trying to get us in trouble. But that's why I start off by saying I did this to my people as well, to understand why this is going on and who it's really coming from. So I want to make a connection all the way up to now, to where all the way up into 2011, I did these things. You know, I validated it when I said, oh, I ain't gonna sell no heroin, or I ain't gonna sell no crack. That's my validation. But I still hustler, still getting over, you know what I'm saying? Still trying to make way. That's my attitude. That's the concept I live back. So, the violence. You know, we ain't no small arms dealers in Chicago. You gotta go outside, but you don't never go on no arms dealers, and you see black guys, even just, you know, the store sales selling guns. But I want to make the connection with these big companies, these people who manufacture the ammo, these people who manufacture the gun. We don't do it. We can't do that. We can't do that. I'm not telling you, I know y'all know this already, but y'all gotta hear from it. Y'all gotta get connected with us. Y'all ain't connected. Y'all ain't connected with it. Y'all, it's a disconnect. But I understand that it was put in place to be a disconnect. I understand why this was 2 generations lost. Why it was 2 generations who didn't put themselves in none of this type of fight. Maybe on a small scale. So this violence that's going on, we killing each other, but they handing us the guns. In the 60s, guns was not this plentiful. In the 70s, they was not this plentiful. 80s, they was not this plentiful. They too plentiful. They just, you can go get a gun from anywhere and shoot. These shorties don't even know they dropping bodies. They gotta live with this. They gotta face the crime created. They don't even understand this, man. You gotta start attacking the morals of these kids. Let them know why they putting them up. Connect with them. Find ways. Gotta find ways, but you gotta live among them. You can't be away from them and expect for them to listen to you, because they ain't gonna hear you. They gonna find a boy, Willie Joint Fleming's son just had fallen asleep. He's falling asleep. I wanted to expose it, but I ain't know how that little brother was gonna take it. I ain't know if he was, you feel me? I wanted to expose, because that's when we need to attack. That right there. Ain't nobody see that in this room? I didn't pay attention to that. He was asleep. And his father put in work. So I'm gonna make this where the connection finna come in with Jeff, because he putting in the fight against this police brutality. Because with them dropping all these guns and all these shorties killing each other, and the kids, 13 people getting shot, he letting off 110 rounds. You know, it's a validation for them to sit in the National Guard. Our grandmama and them like, here, bring them in, because they validating it, man. It's a plan. It's strategic, and we don't see none of the work that O'Malley do. We don't see none of the work that Jeffrey do, because the mainstream media ain't gonna show it. We got to go look for it. We got to look hard and wide for this stuff. Reject everything you hear from the news. Reject all that. Reject it. It ain't true. It's false. You don't know how much work these people put in because of that. So, Jeff, I just want you to make the connection, man, with with the horizontal violence and why it's okay for these police to do this and why they validating it through all these guns, you know, through the horizontal violence. Like, it's blatant, it's there. We just gotta educate ourselves to reject that. I got 1 minute. I just wanna use this last minute to really just emphasize on, I raised the question earlier when Willie and Marissa was here. How can we do something that, like straight up, how can we, with these organization heads here, regular folk here who don't have no organization name to them, how can they put in some work today? This is the question I want you to ask yourself. But I appreciate y'all coming out, straight up, like for real, because this room ain't filled, and I just explained why. Straight up, I just explained why. So Jeff, you know, I don't make that connection, bro.